There's only one that can do what Caitlin Clark did. Bring all those eyes for pure basketball purists. There's nobody like her.
Caitlin Clark is rewriting the playbook for women's basketball, both on and off the court. In her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark delivered jaw-dropping performances, averaging 19.2 points, 8
on the court, what she did. And I don't know if you saw, Indiana Fever yesterday posted this clip of Caitlin, and the caption was just her accolades, and it took 5 minutes to read, and I'm like, girl, do you want to chill at all? She doesn't know.
Zero. And listen, I think this is probably the easiest decision to make, right?
0.4 assists and 5.7 rebounds per game. She led the league in assists and three-pointers, shattering 62 records in just her first season. She's not just good, she's transformative. Clark's impact extends far beyond the game. Merchandise sales soared by 500% during her debut season, while WNBA attendance and viewership reached record highs. The Fever even broke the league's home attendance record, and a game between the Fever and Mystics became the most watched in WNBA history. Sports economists are hailing Clark as a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her cultural impact to that of Michael Jordan. The numbers
to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment.
That is Iowa native and Indiana Fever star, and now Times 2024 Athlete of the Year, Caitlin Clark, looking back at a whirlwind year.
Don't lie. Clark generated an estimated $36 million in economic impact for Indianapolis and is expected to help grow the combined value of professional women's basketball by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Her ability to draw in fans, create buzz, and boost the league's profile is unparalleled. She's built a new foundation for women's basketball, raising expectations, investments, and interest to unprecedented levels. But not everyone is cheering. Some WNBA veterans and insiders seem uncomfortable with Clark's
so many records she broke, not only in college, not only her rookie season. So much has been accomplished for the Indiana Fever. They broke the WNBA home attendance for a single franchise. I mean, I believe the Mystics and the Fever game was the most viewed WNBA game ever in history, single game attendance. So just so many things have happened in such a short amount of time on the back of Caitlin Clark.
Meteoric rise. Critics have taken jabs at her accolades, her influence, and even her presence in the spotlight. Yet, their skepticism only underscores her significance. Clark is not just another talented player, she's a game changer. The WNBA has long sought global recognition, and Clark might just be the key to unlocking that potential. Her unique ability to attract new fans, drive massive revenue, and elevate the league's visibility is exactly what women's basketball has been waiting for. So here's the question. Why isn't everyone in the WNBA embracing her success?
We've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute real numbers and statistics to their popularity, right? Like 19 million people watching, and certainly watching the national championship.
Yes. Instead of nitpicking, it's time to recognize what Caitlin Clark represents, a brighter future for women's sports. If her impact in just 1 year is any indication, this is only the beginning of the Caitlin Clark era. What's your take? Should the WNBA...
We talk about ceilings a lot, but she created a new floor. So now we're going to look back. Even if it doesn't hit the numbers that it hit this season, the expectation is much higher. The interest is generally much higher. The investment is much higher.
Let's rally behind their rising star, or is this just part of the growing pains of a league on the rise? Share your thoughts, and stay tuned, because Clark's story is far from over. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark and how the WNBA is handling, or not handling, her rise to stardom. Clark, a record-breaking rookie, is turning heads, drawing crowds, and racking up accolades like Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year. You'd think the WNBA would celebrate her achievements with fanfare, right? Think again. When Clark won the AP award, the WNBA's response was a single retweet. No congratulatory post, no heartfelt message, just a bare-bones share. Compare that to when Candace Parker received the same honor. The league went all out, proudly highlighting Parker's success. So, what's the deal with the lukewarm?
For the longest time, the WNBA has been trying to get on this global scale, and I feel like that's the direction they are finally headed. I think that WNBA fans have always been proud supporters and pushers of the advancements of this league, but sometimes it takes a certain star of a certain caliber to really just expand and explode the league from the inside out, and that's what Caitlin Clark is.
Treatment for Clark. Fans are noticing the silence, and they're not happy. Clark is bringing in new viewers, driving merchandise sales, and creating buzz around women's basketball. Any other league would be shouting her name from the...
Now you're going to cut down 22-year-old Caitlin Clark, who has single-handedly changed the game, brought in millions of other young fans, old fans. How about the ratings in college basketball for her? Record ratings. And now in her very short WNBA career, shattering records. Isn't that a win for everybody?
Rooftops. Instead, the WNBA seems reluctant to acknowledge her impact. Is it jealousy, internal politics, or something else entirely? Whatever the reason, it's a missed opportunity. And it's not just the league. Some of Clark's fellow players are also throwing shade. Take Aya Wilson, a three-time WNBA MVP. In a recent Time magazine feature, Wilson questioned the criteria for Clark's recognition, implying that race might play a role in the hype. It doesn't matter what we do as black women, we'll still be swept under the rug, Wilson said. While raising valid concerns, this comment comes across as
like, what are we doing and why? Please stop. Let's celebrate Caitlin Clark, celebrate her greatness, celebrate her courage to keep pushing through.
Undermining Clark's achievements instead of celebrating her success. Wilson even reportedly leaked that she turned down a higher-paying offer to join the same league Clark declined. The timing? Just hours after Clark's decision became public. Coincidence? Hardly. It feels like an attempt to redirect the spotlight. Here's the reality: jealousy and petty behavior don't look good on a professional league striving for respect. Clark is a generational talent whose success can lift the entire WNBA. Instead of supporting her, the silence and shade create an unnecessary soap opera.
Caitlin Clark, you go, girl. Don't listen to these people. Keep going strong. Most of us are normal and have your back.
One that risks alienating fans, sponsors, and young athletes. The WNBA has a choice: embrace Clark and ride the wave of excitement she's generating, or continue this counterproductive drama. The ball is in their court, let's hope they play it wisely. What do you think? Should the WNBA do more to support Clark, or is this just part of the game? Share your thoughts, and stay tuned for the next chapter in this unfolding story. Let's talk about Angel Reese. You remember her, the LSU star who faced off against Caitlin Clark in their unforgettable NCAA showdown? Well, Reese has been on a mission to remind everyone that women's basketball isn't all about Clark. She's made it clear in her own words: the reason people watch women's basketball isn't just because of one person. It's because of me too. It's not hard to catch the competitive vibe. Even sports commentators have noticed. Skip Bayless called Reese's remarks a mix of jealousy and bitterness aimed at Clark. Ouch. But the most unexpected criticism came from WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes. Instead of supporting the next generation, Swoopes questioned why Caitlin Clark was named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year. She suggested that players like Aya Wilson deserved the same spotlight. Really, Sheryl? There's enough.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Room to celebrate everyone's achievements. Here's the thing: this petty behavior isn't helping the WNBA. The league is at a critical stage of growth, and Clark is bringing in new fans and media attention. Instead of capitalizing on this momentum, some big names are acting like high school rivals. Think about how this looks to new fans, sponsors, and young girls dreaming of playing in the WNBA. It's not a good look. This kind of infighting could hurt team dynamics and the league's overall reputation. So, what's next for the WNBA in the Caitlin Clark era? Will the veterans embrace her success, or will jealousy continue to dominate? One thing's for sure: the drama isn't just on the court anymore. The WNBA has spent years fighting for respect and recognition. Now, some of
A'ja Wilson is her name, quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because
its players are treating it like a high school locker room. It's disappointing, and it risks alienating the fans who care most about women's basketball. And the media? They're adding their own twist to this saga. Coverage of Clark is like watching two completely different stories unfold. Mainstream outlets are praising her for breaking records, boosting viewership, and changing the game. Time magazine even named.
Did you see how many people showed up to watch Caitlin Clark play golf? With actual attention, economics at play, Caitlin's participation in any league has an existential bearing. Nobody outside of Asia herself cares about whether Asia shows up.
Her Athlete of the Year, putting her in the company of Lionel Messi and Simone Biles. But tune into WNBA-specific media, and the narrative shifts.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Asia Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Instead of celebrating Clark's achievements, there's skepticism and nitpicking. It's as if they're searching for reasons to downplay her impact. This split in coverage is confusing for fans and potentially damaging for the league. Instead of uniting behind a rising star,
the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
WNBA is caught in a cycle of unnecessary drama. Here's the reality: Clark's story is a huge opportunity for the WNBA. The league can either embrace her as a generational talent or let this negativity hold everyone back. The choice is theirs. What do you think? Is this drama hurting women's basketball, or is it just part of the game? Let us know your thoughts, and stay tuned as this story continues to unfold. There's been a lot of chatter lately about Caitlin Clark, but opinions seem to be sharply divided. Some say she hasn't won anything significant yet, unlike other athletes who've earned championships or made big contributions.
Cheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
Contributions to the U.S. women's national team in years when they received similar recognition. But here's where things get interesting. The media coverage around Clark paints two completely different pictures. Mainstream outlets are raving about the Caitlin Clark effect, highlighting how she's boosting interest in women's basketball, driving up ticket sales.
Put Asia Wilson in there.
That was just basketball.
So that's what I'm saying. Was it just the performance on the court, or
it's global? It's like, I think it's everything.
Yeah,
it's everything.
And attracting viewers. On the other hand, insiders within the WNBA media seem more focused on comparing her to established stars like Aya Wilson, often hinting that Clark's rising popularity might be a bit overhyped. So, what's behind the negativity in the WNBA media bubble? Is it an attempt to protect the status quo, resistance to change, or simply an effort to balance the glowing mainstream narratives? Whatever the reason, it's creating a confusing narrative for fans trying to follow her career. One thing is clear: this debate isn't just about Clark, it's about...
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
The future of women's basketball. How does all this conflicting coverage shape public perception of Clark and the WNBA? Are we failing to properly celebrate a standout talent because some can't look beyond their own biases? Clark's impact goes far beyond her stats. Her success is challenging the league to rethink its approach, but it's also drawing jealousy and resistance in some corners. What's next for the WNBA as it navigates the Caitlin Clark era? Will the league fully embrace her as its new superstar, or will it continue this back-and-forth game of downplaying her achievements? One thing's for sure: the future of women's basketball is being shaped right now. How the WNBA responds could set the tone for years to come. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Time Magazine names Iowa's Caitlin Clark Athlete of the Year. Clark follows Lionel Messi, Aaron Judge, and Simone Biles. No unbiased person sees this as a controversial choice.
Caitlin Clark is rewriting the playbook for women's basketball, both on and off the court. In her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark delivered jaw-dropping performances, averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. She led the league in assists and three-pointers, shattering...
If you look at, and I don't know who all the others are, I think you said some names, I don't remember everyone who was on the list, so I don't know if this applies to all, but a lot of what I saw for people is she hasn't won anything, and I think like some of the others have won a championship, or the U.S. women's national team, whatever they won in the year, that they got the honor.
62 records in just her first season. She's not just good, she's transformative. Clark's impact extends far beyond the game. Merchandise sales soared by 500% during her debut season, while WNBA attendance and viewership reached record highs. The Fever even broke the league's home attendance record, and a game between the Fever and Mystics became the most watched in WNBA history. Sports economists are hailing Clark as a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her cultural impact to that of Michael Jordan. The numbers don't lie. Clark generated an estimated $36 million in economic impact for Indianapolis and is expected to help grow the combined value of professional women's basketball by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Her ability to draw.
But what I will say is I hope there's only been 2 basketball players. So I hope that they will continue to look at, like, you know, the league, the WNBA.
And fans, create buzz, and boost the league's profile is unparalleled. She's built a new foundation for women's basketball, raising expectations, investments, and interest to unprecedented levels. But not everyone is cheering. Some WNBA veterans and insiders seem uncomfortable with Clark's meteoric rise. Critics have taken jabs at her accolades, her influence, and even her presence in the spotlight. Yet, their skepticism only underscores her significance. Clark is not just another talented player, she's a game changer. The WNBA has long sought global recognition, and Clark might just be the key to unlocking that potential. Her unique ability to attract new fans, drive massive revenue, and elevate the league's visibility is exactly what women's basketball has been waiting for. So here's the question: why isn't everyone in the WNBA embracing her success? Instead of nitpicking, it's time to recognize what Caitlin Clark represents: a brighter future for women's sports. If her impact in just 1 year is any indication, this is only the beginning of the Caitlin Clark era. What's your take?